Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sick Icky Gaming Counselor is still here, very phlegmy, but we're going to react to a video by Dado, actually, about the early access that he had on Exotics. I'm not going to throw shade on anyone with early access other than just know who Bungie chooses specifically. You'll never see me. There's a reason why. Honesty. Anyways, no shade thrown, just putting that out there. Right now, I'm going to call the elephant in the room just by looking at this. Yes, I love Onslaught. Yes, our 3 mats probably reused assets that we have already. So technically, you're paying to play reused assets. You know what? I'm okay with that because at least it's a new experience versus me running through the Lost Sector for the 50th time doing the exact same thing with nothing different. So I'm a little bit more forgiving of that. And it's going to stay too, by the way, right? So that's good.
And welcome back to I got to play with new exotics before you, Nana Nana Boo Boo, where today I got to play with some episode 2 exotics and you didn't. Not yet anyway. Next week. I want to preface this video by saying that you will see some new episode 2 gameplay stuff, but there will be no story spoilers in this video at all. And as always, with early footage, everything here is...
I want to point out, I see a new hand cannon. I don't know how I feel about that. And it looks like a new rifle. Is it a sniper? Interesting. It looks like Trust.
Is subject to change upon release.
Yeah, it looks like Trust.
Exotics.
It is a sniper.
New exotic for each class. One of each is stasis themed.
Good.
Now... You remember when people thought that Bungie was going to have an artifact that really focused on stasis because it had been forever since that happened? And then they, like, didn't? Well...
Yeah, Season of the Wish, when they said, hey, this is going to be stasis focused, and it wasn't. I remember that. It was a lot of solar.
Episode 2 is actually the stasis artifact.
This is what I want to see.
And they are bringing 3 stasis exotics and a... weapon as well, although as we'll discuss, it's not exactly super stasis themed. First, let's talk about exotic armor and warlocks. We're going to start with you. Warlocks, I would argue that you probably didn't even really need this exotic.
No, probably not.
You still got it anyway, and I say that because this exotic is based on Bleak Watcher.
Oh, baby.
Now, you're probably aware that Bleak Watcher Warlock is probably the best overall build in the game.
Yep.
Not to mention that it is probably one of the easiest builds in the game to execute. Well, Warlocks, introducing Rime Coat Raiment, where your Bleak Watcher turret
I just want to wait.
Is enhanced.
Okay, this actually is an exotic that moves, like it has an eye. That's actually kind of baller. Also, I kind of dig the dress. Yes, it's the robe, the warlock. This feels warlock. It doesn't feel like wizard or mage. This is warlock. I've got this gothic looking style set. That's dope.
With more range, and it's surrounded by a stasis crystal storm. If you stand in it, you get icicles, which deploy and slow targets when you shoot at them.
Sounds cool.
These robes are as good as they seem.
Good.
But obviously the big comparison is against Getaway Artist. Getaway Artist is the main exotic that's paired up with Bleak Watcher.
If I'm running Prismatic, why would I ever run this over a turret build? I drop a Bleak Watcher, I get a Arc Buddy, and then I can slam down and get a Solar Buddy, and I'm just killing everything. Minimal effort, minimal thought, and I can just spam that. Why would I ever use something where I have to stand in one spot? Granted, GMs exist, so this is something to consider. But in day-to-day content where I just want to blow my load, Getaway Arctics is just fantastic.
Watcher, Prismatic Warlock.
Even in GMs, it's fantastic. Let me make that clear.
It allows you to have an Arc Soul with you in addition to deploying the Bleak Watcher turret at the same time. So, you would need to give up Arc Soul for a higher quality Bleak Watcher turret.
Is it worth
the
it?
Ability to slow enemy targets if you stay in the radius of the turret. There's also the Claw of Ahamkara and or Necro Claw variant of that Bleak Watcher setup, which focuses more on the melee side of things. But for now, let's just keep the comparison against Getaway Artist. To me, this trade-off is more than acceptable, but
Is
only
it?
if you're willing to actually play around your turret. Otherwise,
Okay.
you just have a slightly better turret, which might still be worth it on its own, depending on how you play or maybe what activity.
I'm going to say it's not. If you're going to run this, having something, an arc buddy that can just constantly shoot things with a turret that's slowing things, and then having like, you can even have Devour if you want, but I like the solar buddy. You just kill things fast or help ship things faster. So I say using this just for the increase in a turret, probably not worth it.
Activity you're in. To me, I would want the benefit of both parts of this new exotic, so maybe I'm looking for activities where I can hunker down a bit more. Your
Onslaught.
Maybe select raid encounters, coil type activities, anything where you're more stationary for any particular fight that you might find yourself in. Fortunately, or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, this exotic, at least in the limited time that I got to actually test it out, doesn't really change up how you will experience the Bleak Watcher prismatic setup. It's still about getting Devour and just dropping a turret. It's just a different flavor of doing it. Unfortunately, there's not a ton in prismatic that revolves around slowing effects and stuff like that. So the main value in getting icicles is to kind of use them like you have Chill Clip on your weapon. Chill Clip,
which is nice.
Is very good effect, great for stunning champions and all that, but the turret itself does that pretty well over a longer period of time already. It's good for something a little more instantaneous, though, something that you can control and that you want on demand right now. The only other stasis-specific competition is Osmiomancy, and don't tell me you're using Balados out here, okay? But
yeah, Osmiomancy is still really good. If you're running, I think if you're going to run Osmiomancy, you're running straight stasis because you just want to really build into the stasis kit with that. Osmiomancy, I think for prismatic, it's all right. They nerfed a lot of the tech with other grenades, but my personal thought is I still think Getaway is better than Osmiomancy for prismatic, whereas Osmiomancy still shines with the stasis build.
I think Osmiomancy lends itself to actually using cold snap grenades like cold snap grenades, not turning them into turrets, although a lot of people do that all the same, which is fine. But now I think Osmiomancy can probably be a bit more about cold snap grenades and using cold snap grenades, where Rhymecoat can actually be the Bleak Watcher exotic now instead of Osmiomancy trying to like juggle both. Next, we're going to move to...
Or you could use both. I'm going to be honest, if people are still going to use Osmiomancy the same that they always have, just because you're like, oh, I got a new turret thing. People are probably going to use it to throw and freeze things, or they're going to use it for turrets. Like, this isn't going to change how people use Osmiomancy.
Titan, who have a bit more of an interesting exotic, Blast Wave Striders.
Before he even talks about it, I saw this on Twitter. This is PhD Flopper. If you ever play Call of Duty, this is PhD Flopper. Or at least it sounds like it. Which I want to see it in action because it sounds really weird.
Essentially, you charge this armor with kills, and then when it's charged, you can slide or deal explosive self-damage to rocket jump backwards and launch a bunch of stasis everywhere, and also deal a bunch of damage. And you get frost armor from it, and you get damage resistance.
There's a lot on here.
Explosives. So, first off, these do take a little while to charge. It's not like 2 or 3 kills and you're good to go. It's more like 10, something like that.
That's a lot.
But as the exotic says, when your meter is full, you just do a little slide, you're going to fly backwards, and boom, bunch of damage, bunch of stasis crystals everywhere, and then you just do it all over again. You can see me.
It's neat, but it also seems lackluster. I'm going to be honest. That seemed very lackluster. I feel like I could shot a rocket and done the same thing. These are like base lost sectors, right? So I'm not necessarily impressed. Maybe for the Stasis Titan. I'm not a Stasis Titan main. Maybe that's the reason you run it, build into the Stasis tech like Osmomancy. But I'm personally not impressed. Like, oh man, I really need to get Titan.
Try this out with a Consecration Slam for a little double, triple damage action on my slide into uppercut But outside of Master or GM content, I don't really see the average red bar enemy surviving all 3 of those hits, the wave, the stasis, and then the slam. It kind of reminds me of my old stasis Titan build, where the whole idea was to just create as many stasis crystals as possible for AoE damage.
Dude, I love the grenade launcher.
Facilitate that.
I just want to say, this grenade launcher, not only is it exotic, but it looks so good, and it seems like it plays well. It has utility in both its movement tech, it has utility in producing ammo, and it does like its infinite ammo, so you're doing good damage too. Like, I think that this is going to be one of the best guns in the game, or like just having it in your primary slot for just chip damage. Now, without like all the reload perks, I don't know how long it takes to reload, but my God, just having it on demand is just nuts.
You could do maybe like a cryoclasm better slides situation, and you slide into your own crystals, combo that with Howl of the Storm, which, you know, I know those aren't the greatest aspects in the world, but I'm just kind of looking for just synergies here. Diamond Lance and Tectonic Harvest are definitely a bit stronger overall aspects, though, and you can probably upkeep Frost Armor quite a lot, and Frost Armor is pretty heavily
it does good damage too.
Artifact, as we'll discuss. Throw on Agger Scepter.
I mean, these are base boss sector enemies.
So it is possible to have an accidental trigger of this, as you might have seen in my gameplay. It's any kind of explosive self-damage that happens. Now, that doesn't happen a ton, but an easy example might be shooting a target point blank with a rocket sidearm. Those things hurt you as well if you're right next to an enemy as you shoot it, but generally speaking, I think the accidental triggers will be relatively rare. Right now, with my limited time,
I think the explosive damage is honestly it's a plus, but it's not like, oh wow, this thing is, I need to wear this, because 9 out of 10 times if you're killing yourself, you're being stupid anyways. Like, I'm not gonna wear this just for a side rocket. Like, wow, I don't take that much damage when I'm that close. I don't know. I'm not sold on this thing.
With the exotic, I'm kind of on the, this does something neat, but I'm not sure where it fits just yet.
There it is. That's my thoughts.
It doesn't have that clear-cut synergy
that
the Warlock or Hunter exotic does. So I'm interested in seeing if this does find a place into people's kits, or if it's just going to be deemed an interesting effect with no real greater purpose than that.
Which, let's be honest, Titans have too many of these. Like, it's interesting, but you're never going to use it.
Finally, Hunters, you have the Mask of Fealty, where your
what is that mask?
Hits and bounces create a small crystal and refund some melee energy. Using Withering Blade to shatter crystals or frozen targets releases a spread of...
Can you throw one blade? If you can throw a single blade to shatter, maybe for Revenant Hunter, this could be like a really cool kit.
Withering Blades. So you throw a blade at a target, a frozen target, or a crystal, and then out comes a bunch of Withering Blades, which is neat, but we'll see how good it actually is. Now, unfortunately, there was an issue with my Hunter clip on this exotic, so I am borrowing from my friend Leopard here, who is a bit new to the capture scene, to the capture event scene. So, look, I got what I got. Okay, so you're probably like, oh, this might be cool with the prismatic setup that Hunters use with Winter Shroud. And
what am I looking at?
And blah, blah, blah. Or maybe you weren't. I don't know. But part of what makes that build work is the melee.
So dude's like, hey, Bungie's giving me special treatment and not banning me for breaking TOS. And then they fly me out to show that I'm getting even more special treatment. Dude, cheers to those that Glock 5000 Bungie. And then you didn't even do the thing. Like, I wanted to see whether the withering star breaks the crystal, not a gun.
To class ability chaining, back and forth, which runs combination blow. With
no, stop shooting it.
We need to run Withering Blade, and we need to run not Liar's Handshake or some kind of exotic class item either. Now, you could probably run this in Prismatic if you really wanted to force the issue, but
I wouldn't.
More towards a pure stasis setup for this build as a...
That was my thought. Run pure stasis. You go for the kit. I think that's probably Bungie's intent, right? Like, I think they wanted to have a reason to go back to stasis instead of just using prismatic. Try to, and that's smart. You want to juggle both subclasses because you still have to pay for Beyond Light. So like, hey guys, stasis. You want stasis? You still got to pay for it.
The result. We got Winter Shroud with Grim Harvest, maybe Touch of Winter.
Just throw a shuriken at. Stop shooting it.
Guarantee some more frozen targets with your grenade, whether it's glacial for crystals.
By the way, so we got, it looks like a bunch of returning gear repurposed. I don't care. I mean, I've given up on ever having always 100% new models. I personally don't care. I mean, I'm used to Borderlands doing that. Like, it's whatever to me. As long as they're interesting guns, I don't care. But so we got a sidearm, we got a hand cannon, we got sniper, and we know we got the grenade launcher with the dual shots. So that's 4 guns already. I'm a little scared because I think the hand cannon's a 120. There's a sidearm and a sniper. Dear God, I don't know if there's anything else I'm excited for besides just the double GL.
Or Duskfield for a single crystal, or Cold Snap to just freeze targets outright. Now, considering how much Frost Armor stuff is in the artifact, you might want to invest into Frost Armor fragments like Rime or Chains, maybe
It's a stasis world.
But if you wanted to forego that for more shattering or melee / class ability energy gains, I could see that as well. Again, I didn't really get to do
throw the shuriken at it.
Testing
Throw it.
all the different variations of this setup. I barely got to capture what I did. But after digging through all of the stasis fragments, there is a ton of room to explore with this exotic, whether you want to go into...
What is this dude doing? He's playing the game.com. Like, dude, you're supposed to be checking out the different weapons and the gear. Dude's playing the game as if he's at home. Like, I'm sorry, not throwing shade, but my... Here's my gameplay of me just shooting stuff and playing in the Bell Art.
To more Frost Armor or heavy ability energy gains or freeze effect.
It's like I'm watching a new player play this.
Heavy. I'm going to leave it open-ended for now since we're going to have this in our hands pretty soon anyway, but I'm probably looking forward to trying this one out the most because I think it has the most potentially interesting results.
Okay, I want to see the shuriken thing. I guess we'll have to wait till later to see it or watch a different person. I don't know.
Alethonium. Let's check it.
This is the gun of my dreams.
That one. Was I correct? Pronunciation. Okay, it's just a quick sidebar. I'm trying to just find how to pronounce this word because I don't know how to say it. And it says the American, not the English, the American pronunciation of the word alethonym. I'm going to guess it. I'm going to say alethonym is not available, but here's some information on how to pronounce the word the in American English. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks. No, I want...
God, you got to love Google AI.
To really know how to say the. Let's call it alethonym. How about that? Alethonym. Truly,
it's called lead.
I wish I had more to say about this weapon, but despite its very cool looks and its very stasis theme, this weapon does not have any super crazy stasis effect. Instead,
and that is very weird. I like everything else about it is really cool, but he's right. There's no stasis effect. You would think killing something would cause like slow or something. Like I know it would be really powercreep.com, but like why just make it a kinetic at this point, right?
Instead, it is an ammo generating weapon,
which is dope.
Stuff to collect vestiges. Then when you're in between 50 and 99% energy on vestige, you can hold reload to charge it, and then your next shot will spawn special ammo. If you do it at 100%, it's heavy ammo.
That's dope.
It is a primary ammo grenade launcher, so you just shoot this thing forever like a Fighting Lion
situation. Yeah, baby.
But otherwise, yeah, it makes ammo. Yeah, that's not a horrible thing. We only have so many makes ammo type effects in the game, so if people want to play a...
Listen, I think he's underselling it. It's an exotic mountaintop, infinite ammo. Like, you're going to be able to use this for movement tech. Speedrunners rejoice, because you can use this with your sword now, which is great, and not have to worry about ammo ever. Rejoice. You're producing ammo for free for your team, so you can build into support. And it's a freaking GL, like a mountaintop GL. So you literally aim, click, The one thing about Mountain Lion that I don't care about is that you have to do like mental gymnastics of where it's going. This thing, I literally aim and it shoots and it kills or it does damage. Obviously, you're not like infinite ammo, GL, mountaintop, like infinite mountaintop. That's badass.
Support role.
Maybe I am overhyping it, but he's underselling it. I'm just going to put that out there. I'm very much overhyping it, but he's also very much overselling it. It's a good exotic. Do I really think it's the best exotic in the game? Absolutely not. I'm overhyping it because I think it looks really cool.
That's cool, but I will admit I was hoping for something a bit more stasis-y as opposed to it just makes some ammo. So maybe the catalyst will do something with.
Yeah, that's true.
Next up, we got the artifact. Ignore any dev type things like dollar signs and all this. This was.
I'm going to say that I truly don't like. We've seen the artifacts. We've reviewed everything in the artifact. I think there's some new ones. Let's just double check.
I'm not going to have any of that stuff in the live
before
game.
I get my final thoughts.
I don't want to take individual screenshots because I'm lazy. First off,
respect.
It does feel like Bungie is experimenting with some armor set bonus type things, but ones that seem to not completely suck. Like getting more currency of something you're not going to care about in a couple of weeks, stuff like that, or like, oh, a little more XP during a whatever.
Yep.
For example, Total Carnage. If you finish a powerful combatant, you get some temporary damage resistance, but with 2 pieces of Shade Stalker armor, you get more damage resist. And
I think we've seen these. I'm just going to piecemeal them. Wind Chill, One of Frost. Yeah, we've read. I went over a bunch of these. There's some interesting picks for stasis.
A lot of stasis stuff. Decent mix of offensive defense, stuff that can chain into each other as well, like Wind Chill and One with Frost and Armor of Aramis. Plenty to work with here.
Which I'm excited for.
Get some stuff in the artifact as well. Rapid impacts, dealing damage with the GL, gives you reload speed with GLs. Weak and clear, using a GL
baby,
or boss or break a shield weakens them. This works nicely with Power from Pain. Rapid final blows against weakened enemies give you Devour.
It's gonna be so good.
Boosted can give Launcher. Definitely a good amount of stuff to experiment with. Perhaps this could be testing the waters for some future stasis buffs. Stasis,
dope.
It's okay. It's okay. It's been outclassed by Strand and Prismatic and has been for a while now.
Yep.
I didn't get to use anything from the artifact during my time. Otherwise, I would give you more information on these things. But we'll talk build crafting a bit more when the episode actually launches and we can get our hands on this stuff.
Absolutely.
Next week. These were the heavy hitter items that I got to learn during my time.
All right. My personal thought. Warlocks, W. Hunters, Titans, you've got a meme now. Congratulations. You've got Call of Duty PhD flopper. I don't think it's as nearly as exciting as Call of Duty, but like the exotic weapon, I think I'm gonna be brutally honest. I think it's good. I think it's gonna be fun. Do I think I'm gonna use it forever? Probably for this episode because there's so many buffs to GLs and artifact mods. But outside of that, do I see myself using it day ones? Maybe for movement tech? I mean, I do think it has viability as a support weapon and it's a special weapon. And you could run this and another special weapon. So you can run a side rocket. You can run in-depth kindness and this, which is pretty baller. But yeah, that's just my thoughts. The link to his video will be down below. You can check it out. Watch some of the stuff he talks about, the artifacts, if you want to finish up the rest of the video. Again, neat. I'm a little concerned about some of the new weapons I'm seeing. I think we're also getting a adaptive pulse rifle, which could be cool. It's based off, I think, Go Figure. But I don't know. Hand cannon, sidearm, a sniper, a GL, and a pulse rifle. I wish there was like an auto rifle or maybe like, I don't know. Maybe we've been spoiled. We just had a 720 auto rifle. So I think it's pretty mid compared to like other weapons that we have. But overall, we'll have to see. I will give my brutally honest reviews on these weapons. I will absolutely go for the 5 out of 5 god rolls because I'm a grinder, I'm a looter, and a shooter. And I play a lot of MMO style games and looter games that make me grind, and I'm okay with that. So I will give you the best. I will tell you if it's worth the grind, and if it's not, then there you go. Time saved. Until next time, hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel for more. As always, game out.